Good evening, good evening, good evening, one and all, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to round 7 of the SMRC eSports Racing Summer Championship. This is the final, our penultimate round, and this week we are off to the heart of England, to Donington Park, the national layout for our finals. We've got 4 races coming up for you tonight. One set will take place on the PlayStation 4 as always, and the other will take place on the Xbox. Xbox will roughly happen about 7 o'clock tonight, and PlayStation 4 is kicking off just now. So, good evening, and I've got to say good evening and a very warm welcome to our resident co-commentator, and I've got to say I've blimmin' missed you, buddy. Welcome back to Andy Alston.
Thank you very much, David, and delighted to be here for another great night of racing at one of the classic venues in British motorsport. And this is the point of the championship, of course, where every point won and lost is going to be absolutely crucial. So very much looking forward to this one tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be an absolute banger, as we like to say. But a very good evening to everyone that is in chat. We will take our time to say hello to you guys this evening. But without further ado, let's have a look at what we have got going on tonight, because this is who's going to be taking part in our first heats tonight, in our first final rather. This is the PlayStation. So we've got Andrew McIlwright, Glenn Alcock, Kevin Barry, Kieran Preedy, Stuart Anderson, Kenneth Brewster, Annie Butterworth, Ryan Smith, Andy Sedgley, Dave Noonan, Thomas Comer and Daryl Adams. So some real big hitters, but Andy, you brought up to our attention the fact that it all comes down to this, doesn't it? It's all about the points.
Absolutely, and it's one of those ones with we've got Kenny Brewster top of the championship, of course, on 193 points. Big opportunity for him here tonight. You've got an interesting thing. Kenny's been in fantastic form all season, as we know, but it's the battle behind him where you've got Daryl Adams in second place on 145 points. Ryan Smith is just 2 points behind him, so keep an eye on that pair as we go into the finals here in the PlayStation. It will be very, very interesting to see who comes out on top.
Yep, certainly will be. So without further ado, let's head over trackside then, and we have got a full complement of cars minus one person. So we've got 11 cars on track for tonight's PlayStation 4 final, and I'm going to try and turn those cars down a little bit, despite me heading in and turning them down. Never mind. It's all good. It's all fun and games, mate. But how are things, Andy? Because it's been a couple of weeks since we've had the pleasure of hearing your dulcet tones.
It's been a long while, hasn't it? And in between that, it feels like so much has happened in the world of motorsport, hasn't it? We've got Formula 1 well and truly back up and running. We've had the Indy 500, of course, as well. Fernando Alonso was going out there to try and win it. Looks like that's going to be his final chance, unfortunately, is come and gone. I don't think he'll get another crack at it next year. So, and of course, we've got our own SMRC activities starting back in the next few weeks up at Knockhill as well. So it's been a busy few times between the last time commentating here tonight, and it's going to get even busier as action in the virtual and real world all hots up.
Yeah, so as the format always goes, then it's a 10-minute qualifying session that precedes both races, and tonight there are two 10-minute races that happen. And I almost got the SMRC iRacing on the brain, because of course they do 2 30-minute races, but here with the consoles we take it a little bit easier on you guys and girls, so it's just 10-minute races and 2 separate qualifying sessions. Now some very, very fast times coming in, and we saw this through the qualifying earlier on. We were into the 114s, and very good evening to Sean Rennie, to Andrew McKinley and to Josh McNabb. Now Josh McNabb, just to bring you up to speed there, Andy, I don't know if you caught the midweek qualifiers, but I mean, that young lad was absolutely outrageous in the Xbox qualifiers. He was doing qualifying pace laps on every single lap of the race. Won it by country mile, but really putting a mark, I think, for the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. I did watch that, and do you know what? Josh is a very quick driver at the best of times, but his pace in the qualifiers was absolutely incredible. You know, he's a very, very talented driver, and looking forward to seeing what he can do here tonight. Again, he's another one who has got a really good opportunity to make his way up the championship standings. He's currently third at the moment on 134 points. He's got Cameron Evans in second place. Tony Logie, the championship leader, won't be in action, of course, tonight as well. He was unable to take part in the qualifiers. So this is, the stage is set for Josh here to really go on and get some good championship points under his bag. Very, very quick driver, and he's certainly one to keep an eye on here tonight.
Yeah, he certainly is, and so many different championship permutations as we look towards the leaderboard. Kenny Brewster within a touching distance, you've got to say, of getting into the Champions Hall of Fame, Andy. But you know, another one that's really been impressing me, Annie Butterworth, second place, incredible qualifying pace, but just doesn't seem to have the run of luck when it comes to the actual race pace.
Yeah, definitely. Annie's a very quick driver. There's been a couple of instances throughout the season where I think we've seen just how clever she is as a driver as well. Particularly Silverstone always sticks out in my mind when there was lots of cars round about or all coming together, but Annie managed to just make her way through that pack, and that's one of the key things I think as a driver, because you can have the outright pace, but if you don't have that kind of that understanding of those around you and knowing when to push and knowing when to sit back, you know, that can sometimes be the difference as well. So Annie's one of those drivers, absolutely 10th in the standings at the moment. And that's not she's a driver who'd be easily quite a fair bit further up in the standings as well. So again, another one to keep an eye on, and just a 10, not even 2 tenths separating her in pole position at the moment, and of course 3 minutes left in this session, so plenty of time for her to go on and perhaps go one step further.
We'll have to see how that one pans out. And the other thing to remember as well is that you've got 7 cars within 7 tenths or just over 7 tenths of a second. So some real fast times coming in here, and we'll have a look at the detailed standings there. So you can see Thomas Comer 1:15.1, and again, look at those times though, they're so consistent, lap after lap after lap in the 1:15s. You've got Annie Butterworth there in second place, Darrell Adams in third place with a 1:15.457, Kenny Brewster 1:15.480, so even less splitting up between them. Yeah, this is awesome stuff.
And your championship leader, 4th place as it stands. But you know, as you mentioned there, the 7 tenths between 1st and 7th, it's a testament to the quality of the drivers that we've got here in the PlayStation Championship. You know, I think as the season's going on, we've seen we've seen the gap kind of come down a little bit as well, which has been quite encouraging, and the action's been fantastic as well, of course. And I think this is perhaps where as we get to the business end of this season, if you're maybe struggling a little bit in qualifying, this is where it's really going to hamper you, David, because there's a number of drivers who are currently on track at the moment who are very, very quick in the race, but perhaps are struggling to maximise performance out of that Ginetta GT5 car over the one lap. So this is where that could potentially be exposed here. But a little over a minute left in this session, so the drivers will get a little chance to get perhaps one more time on the board as we follow Annie Butterworth here, who's made her way back out the pits, trying to get some heat into those tyres on the back straight. And David, I tell you what, I'm really, really looking forward to the opening event here. This is going to be an absolute cracker. Yeah,
this is going to be an absolute barnstormer of a start to this race as we see Annie Butterworth just starting her next lap. But we've got to say a big shout out in chat to Mark Abraham, who is here for the Kieran Preety Appreciation Association. And what he's actually doing is he's taking well-known songs, or slightly less well-known songs, and is deciding to reacquaint them to Kieran Preety. So he's done Placebo's Pure Morning. A friend in need is a friend indeed, but a friend called Preet is better. He wins the race, the Sky Brewery Ace. He's the main pace setter. I love that. I'm not going to lie, I absolutely love that, because it was a top song, and I love the ingenuity showed by some of the fans here tonight.
Yes, fair play. You know, that's one of the highlights of the championship with you, David, is just the interaction we've had over everyone in the chat. You know, it's been really, really great. This championship, as we've said time and time again, as I've got Andrew McIlvright getting in all things wrong there.
Talking about interaction, that was interaction with a wall there for Andrew McIlvright. But just to point out, Andrew McIlvright just very quickly up into second place there, 1:15.162. So 400ths of a second, and that looks like it's going to be it, because Annie's into the pits, Daryl Adams into the pits, and crucially Daryl Adams ahead of Ryan Smith. Ryan Smith down in 8th place.
Wow. Yeah, that's. But I mean, we say that. I mean, he's 7/10 off pole position, you know, and that just goes to show how tight this championship is. Very, very quick driver, and there he is down there in 8th. You know, it's getting to that stage where it's becoming so close to split some of these drivers here, David. You know, the pace has been phenomenal. This is a track as well that and then Ryan's off. Looks like, is that perhaps a technical issue, or what is going on there?
I don't know. I think his mum's just called Steve's ready. That's what it is. He's off to get it. But there you go, qualifying is completed then, and let's have a look at the extended standings then. Thomas Comer on pole position with a 1:15.119 from Andrew McIlvright in second place there. Annie Butterworth in third place alongside Daryl Adams on row 2. Row 3 is going to be Kenny Brewster, your championship leader, and then in 5th place, we will just find out in just a second. 6th place is going to be Kieran Preedy. 7th place is Stuart Anderson. 8th place is Ryan Smith. 9th place for Glenn Alcock. Andy Sedgley in 10th. And on his own at the back of the grid is none other than our very own Swim Fins 1. That's all we refer to him by. You know, you could go and call him by his proper name of Dave Noonan, but I prefer Swim Fins. It's a bit more gangster, isn't it?
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, some of these usernames and gamer tags have been quite something. If
I'd had to think about my, eSports career, I'm glad it wasn't around when I was picking Xbox names, because, yeah, I was a lot younger back then. Didn't really have the forward thinking for my PR career. Right, all that is by the by. Race number 1 of 2 is about to get underway tonight. We've got 11 cars on the grid. Thomas Comer alongside Andrew McIlvright. Away we go. Great start there for Thomas Comer, but an even better start from Andrew McIlvright there. Ducks in towards the back of the car there. They're on the run down to turn number 1 in towards Redgate side by side, and Thomas Comer thinks better of it because he keeps Andrew McIlvright at bay, and it's all very, very well done into the first couple of corners. Down in towards Craner Curves here for the first time of asking, and oh my goodness me, Andrew McIlvright is really pushing this matter. He's going to try and take the lead into the old bend there. Not going to happen, and Andy, it's looking very, very settled just now.
Yeah, and I tell you what, Andrew McIlvright is wasting no time in putting pressure on Thomas Comer here. You know, I did wonder if he was maybe going to sit off for a lap or two, but he is very, very eager to get past here as we make our way towards the final part of this lap. And look, he's got Annie Butterworth to contend with there as well, and he's again putting the pressure on. So the front three start to build up a little bit of a gap between the chasing pack, but Thomas Comer, he's made a good start, squeezed Andrew McIlvright into Redgate, but gave him just enough room, I think, and here we go as we ride on board with Annie Butterworth. She's going to make a move perhaps into the chicane, maybe just thinks better of it, sits in behind, but really good, clean start to the race so far as well, and here we go. This is going to be a really, really good opening here for the finals. Yeah,
this is just incredible. Look at that. You've got almost an 9-car train in towards turn 1. No incidents, no horrible things to write home for. But behind that, Andrew McIlvright decides to take a little excursion onto the grass there, and have a look at Kenny Brewster there, all over the back of Daryl Adams. And of course this has huge championship implications.
It does, you know. Kenny's wanting to try and get a move on here. This is the time to maybe strike when he's got 2 cars in front of him who are battling. He can maybe try and follow up the inside here as Daryl Adams looks to try and make a move, and there's Kenny doing exactly that, trying to follow in the back and saying thanks very much. As Annie Butterworth flashing the lights there, she's far from happy, but she's gone from 3rd to 5th here in just the space of a couple of corners.
Yeah, I think there was a slow down penalty there for Annie Butterworth, and she had to relinquish the speed that she had there. and that's how she's gotten past there. Now, penalties already for some of the drivers. You can see Andrew McIlvray down in second place there. He's already got a 2-second penalty. So does Annie Butterworth. Annie's got a 1-second penalty. So, you know, penalties all round right now. And Thomas Comer is really under pressure from Andrew McIlvray.
Yes, but that's music to his ears, Thomas Comer. He knows he's got a 2-second buffer. Now look at that last lap as well, David. 1:14.7 from Thomas Comer. And that's with the pressure of Andrew McIlvray behind him as well. That's a stunning lap time.
Yeah, but Darrell Adams as well, 1:14.689.
Yes,
that's just barmy.
The pace is incredible here, it really is. The lap times across the board just seem to be getting quicker and quicker as this season goes on, and it's a shame we're at the 7th round of 8 in some ways. You know, it's been fantastic to watch as we see Andrew McIlvray again, a little bit of the flash of lights there. I wonder if that's him just trying to put Thomas Comer off perhaps as they make their way around Flames there. And yeah, he's got that 2-second gap, but again, if he can just pull away from Darrell Adams, who of course is in 3rd place at the moment, then he should be able to secure that 2nd spot on the podium.
Darrell Adams, 3-second penalty. So as it stands, that is going to put Kenny Brewster, your championship leader, back up into 2nd place right now.
Interesting. So what do you do if you're Kenny Brewster? Do you just sit tight or do you try and push? You know you've got 2 cars in front of you who've got a penalty, but if he perhaps takes it too cautiously, he then risks being drawn into a battle there with a couple of drivers behind him. You know, he's got Kieran Preed in there, a very quick driver, and Annie Butterworth there, of course, as well. So, difficult decisions here for Kenny over the next couple of laps.
Yeah, and we are on board with Kieran Preed right now behind your championship leader, Kenny Brewster. They're coming down through Hollywood, through the Craner curves. And such a wonderful, wonderful track this. And that's Andrew McIlvray just lost out 2nd place there. Will go back on, and that's a bit of a mistake there from Kenny Brewster. They're side by side, and that's going to be Kieran Preed. Oh, there's contact, and that is Thomas Comer. That is your race leader, straight to the path. Oh my goodness me, that's going to be Kenny Brewster caught up in that as well. Darrell Adams has lost his front bumper. Remember, it is only visual damage, but that is a huge, monstrous accident there, and that means that Andrew McIlvray up into the lead there, Annie Butterworth into 2nd place, and Stuart Anderson out of absolutely nowhere, we haven't even mentioned him tonight, is up into 3rd place there. But more importantly, that means that your championship leader Kenny Brewster is in 5th place, just ahead of Glenn Alcock.
Absolute disaster for Thomas Comer, David, and you know, it was just one of those ones when he's had the incident, he's been unfortunate that the car's made its way back onto the track, and then he's collected a couple of other drivers as well, and he's gone from 1st to 10th. Absolutely terrible, and he still doesn't look quite, maybe not quite got back into the rhythm yet, shall we say, but that's a very, very unusual incident, David, as they were making their way around the first part of the lap, and it's had massive ramifications in this championship.
Yeah, that is absolutely huge. That is Thomas Comer. Now, he is down in 8th place, so he didn't have really any championship contention, but it was those that got caught up in that, like Ryan Smith there, whose front bodywork is absolutely destroyed there. Ryan Smith was 3rd in the championship there, and so was Darrell Adams. So the 2 of them have been absolutely scuppered, and potentially that has now just handed the championship on a plate to Kenny Brewster.
It could well have done, and it just goes back to what we were talking about a few moments ago, David, with the ability to keep yourself out of trouble if possible, because look, they've got Annie Butterworth there now up to 2nd place after falling back at the beginning of this race. So that is part of the beauty of the SMRC eSports Championship. You know, the drama can unfold at any moment, and if you're able just to keep your nose clean, and there's more contact as Kenny Brewster gets that car all wrong, and now he's off. Oh, disaster for Kenny Brewster. He's now down to 8th as it stands. He's got it all wrong there at the chicane, and he's got 3 minutes left on the board, so he could perhaps try and make his way up the field a little bit, but this has been a disastrous race for Kenny Brewster, to say the least, and he now comes under even more pressure from the cars behind him.
Right, so can we just pretend that I never said that statement about nothing actually going wrong in this race so far? Because I think that's well and truly been. Also, have a look at the penalties that a lot of people have got. Right, so Andrew McIlvray, your race leader, 2-second penalty. Annie Butterworth, 2nd place, 4-second penalty. So as it stands, she's going to lose out on 2nd place and end up in 3rd place. Then you've got Corrupted Tree, Stuart Anderson, he's not got a penalty. Glenn Alcock has got a 2-second penalty. Darryl Adams has got a 3-second penalty, and Dave Noonan has got a 3-second penalty as well. My goodness me, what a race we've had here for race number 1, and they all need to calm it down just a little bit, you would have thought.
Well, this is it, David. You know, as we're getting to the business end of the championship, you know, the stakes are rising, and every opportunity to make an overtake, you know, drivers are going to grab that with both hands. But this is where, you know, if you're a defending driver, you've got to make sure you are leaving your opponent just enough room to make sure that they don't go off the track, or even worse. And we don't want to see those generator cars with no front ends on them between now and the end of the night, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, while we have got... now, one thing that's caught my eye, Andy, is the fact that one man who might be celebrating quite a bit, if he can get himself just 4/10 up the road, is going to be Stuart Anderson. Because as it stands, Stuart Anderson is on course to win this race. Because Andrew McIlvray just got a 2-second penalty, and Annie Butterworth has got a 3-second penalty. So that means that it's it's now gone up to 2.8 seconds. But if he can get that gap under 2 seconds, Stuart Anderson wins the race.
He's got a lap and a bit to do it, David. So this is it. The pressure's on. He's got to get that car. He's got to get that car moving, that's for sure. And he'll be hoping that Annie Butterworth can put a little bit of pressure on her current race leader on the road, Andrew McIlvray, because if she can do that, he'll perhaps begin to slow down as Andrew looks to try and defend that position. That then allows Stuart Anderson to pick up the pieces and potentially pick up the race win.
Well, am I right in thinking that is Dave Noonan that are away going to put a lap down? It is. Well, that is highly unusual. Oh, and around the outside, Hollywood down into the Craner curves. Dave Noonan making Andrew McIlvray work for it, and off goes Dave Noonan. What is going to happen to him? Because he's got to try and get back on the track without killing anyone, and he does so. My goodness me, that was a breath of relief for Andrew McIlvray there. And Glenn Alcock, just having a look at this, he's in a cracking position ahead of this 3-car battle between Ryan, let's see, that was Dave Noonan again getting caught up with them there.
Yeah, I did wonder if he was maybe moving off the track to just let the race leaders go, and I think that was his intention, but he's managed to upset that generator as he's done it, and very nearly managed to get things all wrong, and that again has had a few implications. As it looks as it now is, that's Andrew McIlvray. He's now got a 3-and-a-bit second gap over Stuart Anderson as he makes his way round the chicane here for the last time to pick up. Well, he's picked up first place as it stands. Will he hold on to that lead though? Let's wait and see.
Yeah, I think he's got that. I think that one's going to be safe because it was a 2-second penalty. It was 3.1 that he finished ahead of Stuart Anderson, and then it's going to be Ryan Smith in 3rd place. So that is a huge boost to his championship hopes there. 4th place goes to Annie Butterworth. It's going to be Kieran Preedy in 5th place there. Glenn Alcock with a brilliant 6th place there. And 7th place is going to go the way of Darryl Adams. 8th place for Kenny Brewster. Thomas Comer in 9th place. 10th place for Andy Sedgley. And then it's going to be Dave Noonan in 11th place. My goodness me, Andy, what do you make of that?
That was a stunning race, and I'm just looking at Glenn Alcock was very, very close to making it. You know, he's finished 6th in the road, but he could well have ended up in the podium there towards the end. He just had that 2-second penalty. But I tell you what, if that first race is anything to go by, then we are in for a real treat here tonight, David.
Yeah, we certainly are. So the cars are away to make their way back onto track in just a second, as we see one of the cars that we had missing from the first race. I'm just trying to see who that was. Is back into it, so we'll make sure we get everyone back in because Andy's just went and left. But yeah, wow, what do you say to that, Andy? More of the same, please.
Absolutely. Maybe minus a little a little bit of the incidents that we had midway through that race. I think everyone just got a little bit excited, but do you know what, that's the great thing about this championship. There's been some races where, you know, we've maybe not had as many drivers on the grid, perhaps, and it would be easy to think, well, this is it. It's you know, they'll just make their way around for 10 minutes or so. But the action has been very, very tight in those races as well. And when we get a full lobby like we have here for the finals, it makes it all the more special. So it's been a great start to the action here tonight, and I think Kenny Brewster's probably one here that could well have done a little bit better. He just managed to get himself caught up in some of the drama in that first race, so he'll be looking to try and just keep his car out of any kind of any difficult position, shall we say, and because he's of course got one eye on trying to lift that championship title here in the PlayStation Championship.
I couldn't have said that any better myself, Andy. Thank you very much for that. Right, we are going to take a very short break, and when we come back we will be live with qualifying from race number 2. Right, mate. Qualifying currently underway then for race number 2 of the PlayStation 4 finals. This is round number 7, so this is where it all gets very seriously, very, very quickly. So really, yeah. I got a message, Andy, from our very good friend Annie Butterworth. It's a gif of Dwight from The Office going, or just screaming, and her smashing the keyboard. So yeah, sorry Annie. Yeah. It's not gone too well, has it?
Oh dear. Yeah, it was certainly an interesting opening event to say the least, and one driver who was caught up right in amongst that we're following here as well, Thomas Comer. He was of course leading this race for a good part of it as well, and then his race unravelled midway through as well, so he'll be one driver who will also be very keen to make amends after that opener, as he takes a very, very wide line there into Redgate as well, David. It's interesting to note that not everyone's doing that as well. They're using that kind of the pit extra to really try and carry as much speed as possible through the corner, and Thomas has certainly taken a wide line in there as he looks to get his first time on the board in the qualifying events.
Yeah, well, great to say we do have a full house because Andy Sedgley has rejoined the session, so we do have 12 cars out on track just now. So Andy, we'll leave the cars for just a second, although to be fair, there is only 5 minutes left to go, and I think one thing we need to talk about is the huge implications that race one has had on the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's this has been an interesting championship, the PS4 one, because we've had Kenny Brewster at the top for quite some time. He's gone into this event where he just really needs to keep the car out of trouble, to be fair, and this is the beauty of motorsport. You know, he's managed to, unfortunately, have a few incidents that's really affected his opening final event here, and it means that the likes of Darrell Adams, Ryan Smith, Andrew McIlroy, those around him can pick up some points and just put a little bit of pressure on him as they go into the final at Bathurst. So it's been an interesting one for him, to say the least. And I think the other one as well is Thomas Comer, who I have to go back to, because he is 8th in the championship at the moment on 77 points, and there was a big opportunity for him to make up quite a number of places, and unfortunately he's not been able to capitalise on it. But as things stand, he's currently second in qualifying, and there's not even a tenth of a second between him and our championship leader, Kenny Brewster. Yeah,
Thomas Comer has really had an unfortunate run of luck through some of the rounds, and if things were a little bit different, it could have been a very different story for Thomas Comer. As it is just now, coming into the first round, he was way down in 8th place with just 77 points. And yet again, look at that, 7 cars separated by 9/10 of a second. Glenn Alcock, his pace has massively improved as well, down to just 1.1 seconds behind Kenny Brewster. But Kenny looks to have got his stuff together and be a little bit more on the pace.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, David, this is the thing about this championship. There's so many drivers when you look at them in the standings where you think, they're not 11th, they're not 10th, you know, because we know how quick these drivers are. But part of racing is just that element of luck, of being able to keep the car out of trouble. And unfortunately, you know, Thomas Comer's one who's found that out the hard way in the first event here. He's managed to collect other cars. He's come into some real misfortune, and that is the difference, unfortunately, between being 8th in the standings and being a little bit further up, because you know the pace of many of these drivers has been absolutely phenomenal, and to be hitting low 1 minute 15s around this track is something else. You know, it's been very impressive stuff.
Yeah, certainly is. Big shout out to Angus Scrivener, who is joining us on YouTube watching this along. This is indeed the second of the finals for the PlayStation 4. We're in qualifying just now, buddy, so Xbox will be up in about 20 minutes time. We are running a little bit ahead of schedule, so we'll try and get the Xbox out as soon as we can, so be ready for about 10 to 7 for those invites. But in the meantime, 12 cars we've got on the grid, and I'm really looking forward to this race. Just 2 minutes left to go in qualifying. 8 cars now within 0.8 of a second of your current pole position man, Kenny Brewster, who just is in pit lane actually. Thomas Comer down through the Craner curves just now. Just 700ths of a second is not all that much to ask, but yet at Donington it's everything.
No, absolutely, and I think between the start finish line and the old hairpin is crucial, David, because that's the part of the track where the car can get a little bit unsettled. So if you can be smooth with your lines, if you can just make sure you get to the old hairpin, hard on the brakes, get the car turned in as you make your way around Starkey's Bridge, that final part of the lap gets a little bit technical as well. But for me, it's the first part of the track where time can be won and lost, because the curbs, I think, can be a little bit unforgiving as well on Project Cars 2. I know in iRacing in particular they are vicious, but even round here, you know, it's very easy to get things all wrong. As we follow Thomas Comer now, I think we'll get one more lap in, Dave, with 45 seconds left on the clock. He's not managed to improve this time round. And again, look at that wide line, taking a little bit of grass there as well as he widens that corner as he makes his way through into Redgate now and down the Craner curves.
Yep, good stuff, good stuff. So 30 seconds left to go in the session. I think Ryan Smith has thrown in the towel. He's not going to be making any improvements. He's in pit lane just now. Daryl Adams up into 4th place, and again we've got to see the fallout from the points and from the results there. So yeah, it's I think that's going to be all she wrote. Thomas Comer is one of the few that can make an attempt here on the lap. Angus Scrivener is saying that he's on his way home from karting. Can we hold the heat until 7? Absolutely, buddy. We'll start it at the normal time. Just make sure you can get in. So that's absolutely fine. So we will be starting at 7. So you need to be there for as usual for 5-2, buddy. Other than that, we are good to go then. The final car's making their way around now. That is Stuart Anderson. He's got a car in front of him. That is Kevin Barry just ahead of him. So a nice little throw. It looks like Kevin Barry not got the strongest connection tonight.
Yeah, car's just jitting around a little bit there, isn't it? And that's the thing. It can, if you're following a car where the connection's not as strong as it could be, you can be a little bit more cautious. You don't want to throw that car up the inside thinking you've got a clean move done, and then all of a sudden there's a coming together of car doors, you know. So it can be a difficult one to deal with when you're out there on track.
Yeah, it certainly can. So that looks like that is it for Kevin Barry. Stuart Anderson goes across the line to finish the qualifying. Andrew McIlvright, Andrew McIlvright has decided to send his car into space, is what Andrew McIlvright has done there. But the long and short of it, 9 cars we've got, Andy, within a second. That is absolutely incredible.
Definitely, and I tell you what, it means that the opening lap of this race is going to be very, very interesting, to say the least.
Oh my goodness me. So we head to the grid then for the final time on the PlayStation side of things. This is race number 2 for them tonight, and again this is the penultimate round of the SMRC eSports Racing Summer Championship. You listen to David Christie and Andy Alston bring you live coverage of our inaugural Summer eSports Championship. Kenny Brewster on pole from Thomas Comer. Andy Sedgley in 3rd place there. We Darrell Adams in 4th place. It's Andrew McIlvright in 3rd place there. Annie Butterworth in 5th place and Kieran Preedy in 6th. It's going to be Stuart Anderson alongside Kevin Barry 7th and 8th. It's then Ryan Smith alongside that'll be Glenn Alcock in 10th place there, and then at the back of the grid is Andy Sedgley and Dave Noonan, and I am very impressed that I managed to get all that from just their initials.
Fair play to you. I couldn't have done that, David. That's real commitment there.
I've spent too long doing this competition. That's what that is. So the drivers get 2 minutes to ready themselves up. So you'll see at the top of the screen there it says 8 minutes to 45 to go. When that goes to 8 minutes, that's the cut-off. So anyone who's not hit ready, I believe, starts on the grid anyway. So just they get ghosted out if they're not there. But it does look like someone's taken advantage of a last-minute break to the loo or to get a cup of coffee or some juice or whatever, and that's absolutely fine. Thoughts, Andy? What are we going to see here?
Well, I tell you what, this is certainly building up the drama anyway, isn't it? This little delay. I think Kenny Brewster's got to make a good start here. And I think if he can get to the old hairpin in 1st place, there's every chance he's going to take off into the sunset here. But Thomas Comer is the one to watch for me, because he was, of course, leading a good chunk of the last race, and he'll be keen to make sure that he's still leading as the checkered flag comes down.
Yep, and that'll be in 10 minutes time. We're waiting for the cars to ready themselves up. The lights come on for the final time for the PlayStation tonight at Donington Park, and away we go. And it's a huge start for Andrew McIlvright in 3rd place there. He got a cracking start, and it means that Kenny Brewster got a poor one. He's going to look to the inside of turn 1 at Redgate. Oh, sweeps across. There's contact with Thomas Comer and hits Kenny Brewster as well, and yeah, that was a little bit naughty. They're going to have to calm it down on turn 1 here. That puts Annie Butterworth up into 3rd place just now, ahead of Thomas Comer and just behind Andrew McIlvright. So Thomas Comer really has lost out in the start of that race there.
He certainly has. I thought both drivers did well those cars on the track as well, Dave. I thought they were going to spin round at Redgate, but managed to survive at least. Thomas Comer will be happy that he's only dropped down to 4th place and not done. It's not been any worse than that. But he is hot on the heels of Annie Butterworth, who's currently in 3rd. Andrew McIlvray 2nd place if you ride on board with him now. He's chasing down Kenny Brewster as they make their way down the back straight, just through Coppice here. Will he make a move or will he just sit back? Let's wait and see. Over 100 mile an hour on this Giannetti. He's into 4th gear. And Kenny quite rightly takes that defensive inside line. He forces Andrew out wide into this right-handed chicane. And he can't make it stick this time as Kenny lives to fight another day.
Meanwhile, one man that can make it stick is Thomas Comer, who went right round the outside of Annie Butterworth on the lead up to the final chicane. Oh, look at that. Thomas Comer takes that wide line, and there's contact between your two leaders. Andrew McIlvray hits into Kenny Brewster there, and all hell is breaking loose right now because Andrew McIlvray still trying to go round the outside of the Craner curves ahead of Kenny Brewster. Kenny's not going to take that one line down, and look at that. Annie Butterworth up the inside there of Thomas Comer. Thomas Comer's going to be late on the brakes, and Annie Butterworth loses it, keeps onto it. What a move by Annie Butterworth. Fantastic car control, and look at that. Ryan Smith moves up the inside of the both of them to take 3rd place. Huge drama there, and Andrew McIlvray now your new race leader.
Unbelievable how the order has changed in just the space of a couple of corners. First and foremost, credit to Annie Butterworth for keeping that car on the track. That was a sensational bit of recovery driving.
And he's gone off. Andrew McIlvray goes off.